Welcome back, Aseniers. Today we're going to get started by covering your Autodesk Inventor navigation. So this is going to be a review on how to navigate through your Autodesk Inventor account, so forth and so on. Now, as you know, for being Aseniers, students of our Engineering and Environmental Science Academy here at John Muir Early College Magnet, you have access to your Autodesk Inventor license via Autodesk.com. All you have to do is create a student login, and you can download not only Autodesk Inventor student license for a few years, but you could also download any part of the software, any software that Autodesk creates. And Autodesk is a large provider of graphic CAD-like design software, so you can learn on how to create, environments, background environments for video gaming, characters for video gaming. Again, there's more design software like Autodesk 360, so you can save your work via the cloud. But let's get on with today. All right, so the first thing you always want to make sure that you're doing when you start Autodesk Inventor is you'll see this window here. And you want to make sure that you have started a project folder or that you are selecting the project folder that you are currently working on. Over time throughout this year, your files will start to increase. And so we want to make sure that you follow some good data management techniques in Autodesk Inventor as well as everywhere else. But beginning with Autodesk Inventor, you want to make sure that you are always clicking on projects. And in that project window, you will see the following. Give me 1 second. This window will pop up here, and you will select the project that you're working on, or you will select new. Single user project is always what we will be doing, and then you will change the project name. Okay, remember, for data management purposes, I prefer that it is your name dot, so it could be your initials or an abbreviation of your name, dot the name of the project you are working on, .IED 2019. The reason I'm asking you to write down IED 2019 for your Intro to Engineering Design class, I will see you multiple times in your high school career, and we will be taking different classes, and you will be using Autodesk Inventor in those variety of classes. So we want to keep track of your portfolio, your body of work. When did this take place? When was this file created? And what class was it out of? So that'll do, and then you'll click Finish, and then you'll say yes, press OK, that account exists. Now currently you are working on your Puzzle Cube project, so I'm going to go ahead and select my Puzzle Cube project. Then as you can see, there are already multiple files there. After you've created your project folder, you want to click on New. When you're on New, this window will appear right here. And creating part files, you're looking for standard IPT. IPT stand for Inventor Part File. Pretty straightforward. If you were creating an assembly, which we will talk about later this year, standard IAM, Inventor Assembly File. And last but not least, when we talk about creating drawings or creating presentations, again, IDW stands for Inventor Drawing File, and IPN stands for Inventor Presentation File. So each one of these files is a different type of file that you can use in Autodesk Inventor, and we will be using all four. Now, if you notice, what is great about Autodesk Inventor is they explain everything. So if you click on something or you highlight your mouse, you will get a short explanation of what exactly that feature, that button, that option has or is. All right, so again, on your home window, when you do in the Get Started window when you first open up Inventor, you also have these quick buttons so that you can just go straight to the type of file that you want to create without having to go through the multiple select and then create options. Since you're creating a part file, you just click on Part and immediately a part file space opens up, a workspace opens up. So to create your part files, we know that we are coming from a 2D environment and trying to create a 3D object. So you have to start with a 2D sketch. You got to select one of these planes. Now, more often than not, the XY plane represents the front of an object. The YZ plane represents the right of the object, and the XZ represents the bottom and the top of the object. So really you just need to select the plane that you feel you can draw the object best from. And again, you will develop that type of a mindset, that type of a technique as you continue to get more practice with Autodesk Inventor. In the meantime, select your XY plane and get started from that front view. So the tools that you're using right now are the line tool and the rectangle tool, because you are creating primarily block objects for your puzzle cube. You can use the rectangle tool to provide any shape you're looking to have in your object. And then there's a new tool I'd like to introduce you to called the trim tool. So if you use the rectangle tool and it ends up having a lot of cross lines that you didn't intend for it to have, you can trim away, like a haircut, those extra lines. And so once you are done with that view, you should be able to select and create that block like object. So again, you can use the rectangle tool, or you can use the line tool. Now with the line tool, the two things you need to be conscious of most of the time, actually with any tool, but particularly with the line tool, is what exactly is the size of the line that I'm trying to create, as well as, and if you notice, what's the degree of the line that I'm trying to create. So this is where geometry really becomes real for you, and we get to apply some geometry in a really cool way. If we're creating square-like objects, well then we know that each corner should be a 90-degree angle, and so we would make them 90 degrees from each other. And as you can see, Autodesk Inventor is intelligent enough to kind of follow your pattern, and it will do this stamping with the click options when it feels like it's aligning. So if you can see that there, it feels like it's aligning with that line, so it kind of creates a little stamp. You can see it kind of jumps to that line. And again, Autodesk Inventor is just trying to follow the pattern of the work that you're doing. And then if you're trying to work from another drawing, as you can see, when you get to corners of that drawing, points of that drawing, then the cursor will light up green. And that's trying to tell you that it's making a full connection there. Now, all you need to do when you make mistakes is access the skills you already have when it comes to using digital technology and computers. Just like you would in a document software like Word or Google Docs, you want to highlight something, you can. You want to delete that something, you can by pressing delete. That's a quick option. And then there's always the undo button, right? So as you can see here, I put my mouse and it selected and it highlighted that area and it told me what that button's for. And you have a redo button as well. And just like any software, the undo and the redo buttons work as long as nothing's been permanently saved. So let me go ahead and finish the sketch. Now something that will happen with some of your drawings is you guys will often be creating multiple sketches, and sometimes you created that multiple sketch not on purpose. So if that happens and you need to delete that multiple sketch that you don't need, all you have to do is right click on that pencil pin there, right click on the sketch you're looking for and just press delete and it will be gone. In addition, if you need to make any corrections to your original sketch, then see this little arrow here in your extrusion that you just finished. Go ahead and click on that. The sketch 1 will appear, double click, and the original sketch is there. And then you can make some edits. So for example, one of the edits that will be most common is you need to make sure your dimensions are correct. Now you're working with a puzzle cube project and each one of those cubes is 3/4 of an inch, 0.75. Autodesk Inventor can do math, so as long as you know how to write an equation, it will complete the operation for you. So for example, I want to make these 2 cubes in size, but for whatever reason the math is escaping me that day. All I got to do is enter the equation. So 3/4 times 2, boom, it's done. Okay. And then if I want to match that, now I can see what that answer was, and I'll just enter that in complete my drawing all the way around. Until I have finished. Now, if you no longer want to use a tool, you need to do one of two things. Either press escape on your keyboard or right click and escape, and now you're free to use other tools. So for example, I want to delete those lines. I'm going to finish sketch. It's going to ask me, well, we see some errors with what you've done. You're going to say escape, and then you're going to go back, and if it's something happened, something's not working well, then again you can just kind of start over. And if you want to delete the extrusion, what you're going to, but not delete the sketch, you're going to unclick this button that says Consume Sketches and Features. Now, if you want to delete the whole thing, including the sketch, then you would go ahead and keep that checked, that box checked. So now I'm back to the original sketch that I was working on. I can do things like there are different constraints that I can place on this object that we will talk about later on. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and finish some of those constraints and see if I can't fix my extrusion. Now, right now, as you notice, it's not working. Okay? When that happens, you need to investigate your sketch. And one of the things that you want to be careful of and look at is whether or not your sketch has been highlighted fully in this dark blue or purple. Okay? So again, these green lines, they are working lines. Inventor's telling you, I see the line that you're creating, great. But when it understands the type of object you're trying to create, then it will highlight the lines in a dark blue or purple, depending on how you see it. And what you want is for your entire drawing to have that. So if it doesn't have that, then you need to either figure out what's causing that problem, like I just did right now with my constraints, or redo the sketch, in all honesty. So I'm still having some problems. I'm actually not sure why. So when all else fails, begin again. It might have been all those extra lines I drew originally. So again, rectangle tool is a really great tool. Creates rectangles for you. If you want that rectangle, as you can see, I'm entering a value now. When I press tab, it goes to the other window, and I can now change that value as well. Really zoomed out here. Something you should know about the mouse, if it has a wheel on your mouse, if you press down on that wheel, as you can see, there's a little hand that shows up. That allows me to move my object around. Scrolling through the wheel up and down allows me to zoom in and zoom out. And then again, if I want to zoom in on a certain part, then I just need to put my mouse in that area and zoom in. If I want to go to another area, zoom in, so forth and so on. So it will zoom into anything. So if you're wondering why your object disappeared, it's because you are zooming in to some space of the workspace. And if you're like, I still can't find it, just press the home button. It will immediately bring you to your drawing. Alright, so let's try this again. Let's press finish sketch. We're going to press extrude. There it is. And so now I have my block. Now, for the purpose of the Puzzle Cube project, as I've suggested in class, your best option is to really think about the profile, the front view or the side view of your cube, and try to draw that profile with the right dimensions. If you're still not comfortable with drawing it in dimensions, drawing that profile with the dimensions, then go ahead and make it one cube at a time. So if this was like Lego blocks, where do you want to add the next block? And so you just click on a surface. You want to create a sketch. That's that last button there. You want to create that same block feature one more time.